not to go. Yeah, it's when we were talking about people who were all upset, and it's like that
Oh,
political party's a war hawk. I'm like, what?
oh, that is very
Fucking
good.
yeah, that's a great, that's a great aviation call sign. Um, hold on.
Hello,
Hello.
hello, what's up, bro?
Hey, it's the What's Up Bro podcast. We talk movies, sports, TV shows, pop culture, and it's funny, motherfuckers. With nary signs. I'm like, what? How can this? They have Photoshop. Photoshop exists when this artist rendition was done. How the fuck is this not cooler looking than a sketch that looks like it was done by a hillbilly off the side of the road? What the fuck are we talking? Why is this a thing?
So you're telling me there's a chance?
With Missy.
Just let me finish my thought before you fucking interrupt me. Wrong room to ask questions.
Welcome to the party, pal!
And Mike Markadal.
I'm just glad I like vanilla, boring sex like this. I'm glad that the sex I enjoy won't get me killed.
That's how winning is done.
Hey, I'm Dave Chappelle, and this is What's Up, Bro.
And we're recording and we're live. Welcome to the What's Up Bro podcast, your favorite podcast where you come to watch or listen if you're still one of those people who are refusing to move on.
Welcome to the 21st century.
Yeah.
You can't even say
welcome.
that anymore. It's 2022. 22 years have been adults of drinking age are been around.
So welcome to the What's Up Bro podcast. I am Nary Science, aka
I'm old.
the Warhawk. With me as usual is Mike Mercadal.
Mike Fighting Violences Mercadal,
yes,
which is from
Kickflix.
Kickflix, which will be airing in the future.
In the future. This is
Oh.
weird. We're like in the Marvel universe except poor.
Oh, I will say now that the Punisher is in Disney Plus and what's his name is in Spider-Man No Way Home, Charlie Cox's Daredevil, I technically exist in the MCU. Like the official MCU. I technically exist.
I like the fact that you said the words technically and officially in the same sentence.
Yeah.
And it was like, yeah.
You can be officially and technically correct.
Because once you're official, you don't have to say the word technically, usually.
Well, it wasn't explicitly stated that nothing has been officially released.
Are you getting paid? Did you get points from the latest movie?
Yeah. I got a residual check from. I still get them from Burn Notice every now and again, and it's like a couple bucks. My favorite is on TikTok. Dante Bosco, the guy from Hook. He was Rufio, and he's been in a bunch of things.
That's right.
And he's the voice of Zuko from the Avatar, Last Airbender, and he's a bunch of things. He has like 1.5 million of these, and what he does is he opens the residual checks on TikTok, and his thing is he gauges it by what kind of meal the residual check will buy him. So he will buy a meal with that check. So sometimes he's like, I guess we're going to Chipotle, or sometimes, and then because he'll get little ones, and then but he always talks about the shit that he's done. And I'm like, fuck, that's good. Like good.
He
for
does.
that guy.
There's a podcast. John Reap has a podcast. Comedian John Reap. He's the guy that used to do the old Hemi commercials. Remember? Hey, is that a Hemi? That guy.
Oh yeah.
All right. So he also won Last Comic Standing, I believe, season 4, if I'm not mistaken. White guy from Hickory, South Carolina or North Carolina, one of those. And on his podcast, he opens up residual checks, but he gives them away.
Oh.
So like you submit your name, whatever, blah blah, and then before he even opens them up, he's like, "This residual check will go out to whatever the fuck," and then and then one time told the story that he bit him in the ass. It was like a $840 check. He's like, damn it, I could have used that money.
Well, if he was in a national ad campaign, You
was a
can,
few. He was in a
yeah,
few. Yeah.
you're like people don't talk about it, but the flow, the progressive lady, that lady is a multi millionaire. The dude, the Can You Hear Me Now guy,
Oh yeah.
that guy is for two, because he was Verizon and then he turned a trader and then he went to some other company and he had a national campaign there. That guy, Jared
I
from Subway, in jail. Separate issue.
Separate issue. There's a who's it? The chick that does the AT&T commercials.
Yes, yeah. Whatever.
She was also in that show that makes everybody cry. Was it Parenthood or I
This Is
forgot which one
Us.
it was? Maybe This Is Us.
Is it?
One of those two,
I
Parenthood
don't
or
watch
This Is
either of
Us.
those.
One of those two. And she was also in that show, but she's also directing and writing these commercials now. I found that out.
Oh, she's bank. Like she can do whatever she like. That's the thing, is that once you have, that's the thing about America. Once you have a certain amount of money, you can genuinely just live off of the money that money makes. Does that make sense? Yeah, I mean,
You know
like,
what?
But
I
if you
feel
want to
bad
pursue
for
a dream, forget
yeah.
it.
I feel bad for the guy who just bought Twitter. I mean, he must be running on fumes now, right? Once
He's gonna overdraw his account.
he's gonna overdraw his
He's gonna
account.
get
So
charged an overdraft fee.
so the news broke at the time of this recording. The news broke yesterday that it was official that this guy's buying Twitter, right? Elon Musk, $44 billion.
He submitted an offer, and Twitter has approved the offer to be sent to the shareholders, and the shareholders have to vote. But what kind of dumbass doesn't vote for their shares now to be worth 40 something billion dollars? You know what I mean? Like, you're good, and then he's
Somebody who stands on their principles, Michael.
yeah, but you're
Who's
one person. You're gonna
not
get
on
beat.
Twitter.
You're gonna
Clearly
lose.
clearly not on Twitter.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be
They're
funny? One
on
person's like, no, like
they're on Truth America. What's the fucking Trump one?
I don't know, but Twitter is just like the most negative space in the internet, and it would be. I just would love to think. I would love to think of the situation where their shareholders are somehow positive, like moral people, yet they're shareholder of the most negative space on the internet. Is like
Yeah.
fucking hilarious to me.
I don't know.
And,
Twitter
and
is
by the
not.
most negative, I mean obviously not super niche. Like if you create a space on the internet where what was that one Parlor or whatever the fuck?
Oh,
I mean
yeah.
I mean that's not. I mean that's not the same thing. That's like a step away from the dark web. Like it's just
Well,
fucking.
it's just amazing how like clunky it all is. Like it's genuinely like the people who are, the government's trying to spy on you and all this stuff, and then you go, like, that's why we formed Parler, and then you learn that there's like a million security flaws, and they're like, oh, we're stealing all of your information, like not just like we make money off of you dummies, you know what I mean? Like,
So what's his name? So I was
Elon
talking.
Musk.
So I was talking to a friend of mine, and I was like, "Oh, Elon Musk, $44 billion, right?" And Elon Musk just bought Twitter, and they said, "Don't even get me started." And I said, "What are you talking about?" And it said, "Because I don't get the hatred for Elon, but I don't have the hatred for capitalism like some people on this podcast."
I'm gonna let you speak.
Right,
I'm
and
gonna
then
say
so
what
I
you
don't have the hatred for capitalism, and I don't have the hatred for Elon. I definitely don't have the hatred for Elon Musk. I actually like that guy, from what I know of him. But I haven't done any research. And then the information was the conversation was he went on Twitter X amount of time ago and was like, tell me how to make the world a better place with money, and I'll do it. And then the UN, again, this is according to my friend. I have no idea how fucking accurate this information is. I've never heard this story, so I don't know. The UN told him how to do it, step by step, how to fix the fucking world. And what does he do instead? He buys fucking Twitter. And then I was like, well, two things. One, I've never heard that the UN gave him a step by step program on how to fix the world. I had no idea that they could do that. I had no idea that they would even know how to do that. One, two, it's not like one or the other, right? It wasn't like he was like, I could fix the world or buy Twitter. It's not like he had $44 billion and $20 in his pocket, and he was like, I'm gonna spend it on fucking Twitter. And then like when you go out and you buy pizza, you're like, I could have bought pizza or a sandwich, but I couldn't have bought pizza and a sandwich. And it's like, okay. So I had no idea that was a thing, but I just thought it was funny that my friend was mad. I was like, but I'm sure he still has money, right? Like he could still do the other thing. Like I don't.
Well, here's the thing. This is the problem with like all billionaires is that we're talking about
Bruce Wayne does not have this problem.
Bruce
So I'm
Wayne
just gonna go ahead and put that.
is a psychopath. Right? Like you
Legit.
legitimately a psychopath. Also, like when you talk about this much amount of money, so you know that have you ever seen or heard that experiment of like if you push this button, you will get $1 million, but 1 million people will die, or somebody will die.
Yeah, somebody you don't know will die.
Somebody you don't know will die.
That was that movie.
That was it's called The Box or some shit like that. It was like a thing on.
Did you ever
YouTube,
see Daniel Tosh's? Did you ever see Daniel Tosh? He highlighted somebody on the internet that had done a funny video.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you push this button, somebody you don't know will die. Click. And he didn't even finish the fucking like.
No, wait.
He didn't even finish the whole "you'll get money" thing. You like click.
Yeah.
Oh,
What
right.
are you talking about? Yeah.
So you were saying
So
billionaires.
I push this and I get $1 million. It's like somebody I don't know.
Yeah, no, but their thing was that they didn't even get to the money portion. They were like, if you click this, somebody you don't know will die. Click, like, no, they hadn't even said, "I'll give you $1 million." Part. They hadn't even said that part yet. He's like, wait, I haven't. Okay.
Here's the part that's not funny. Billionaires do that shit all the time. Like Jeff Bezos told people, or the people who run Amazon for the warehouse and all that shit, were like, "There's a tornado coming. Can we leave?" And they're like, "No, because we need to make $1 million more." And then people fucking died. Like it's not a far-reaching thing to say. Like it's not funny. It's not fun to joke about. But we're literally at comic book levels of money.
Don't tell me what's funny.
All right, fine. You're like, yeah. Tornado, hilarious.
Tornado, maybe not that funny. But you know what would have been hilarious? Hail.
Like he doesn't get killed by the building collapsing. He gets killed from like peeking his head out and a fucking thing hits him. See, that is kind of horrifically funny. But the fact of the matter is that like that's how it works. Like Nestle is a hugely evil corporation, and they don't think clean water is a human right. Yeah, it's
strawberry milk, sir. They
benefit off of slave labor. That's the thing with Elon Musk. I don't think people realize how much $1 billion is. Like a million, there's that whole thing about like 1 million seconds is like 11 minutes, but 1 billion seconds is like 31 years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the scale of it is so big that people struggle with the like, it's what the 45. The number 45 makes sense to you. The number billion does not.
Right.
So like when this guy, first of all, like it's all about the inherited wealth off of literally slavery. Like his father had an emerald mine in South Africa, and he had.
At least it wasn't diamonds, Mike. At least it wasn't diamonds. Can we look at the bright side of things?
No, but then at least people would take it because people have seen the movie Blood Diamond and they're like, I get it now. But
you know what the movie?
Emerald, like, that's not what that movie's called.
Yeah, nobody's seen Blood Emerald.
Nobody's watching Blood Emerald. That makes it even worse a little bit because it's like
it's a straight to DVD fucking release.
Yeah. It's like one of those like look-alike movies.
Yeah. It's like it didn't have Alec Baldwin. It had the other brother. It had Billy Baldwin in it.
Yeah. But so this guy gets a bunch of family money, like inherited slavery money, and decides to start buying up companies. He doesn't invent anything. Right. He just buys up these companies. And then to the point where
he buys them up and makes them better than they were. Every company that he's bought has increased in both wealth, size, and I mean
that's for him. And like the thing is that it's like, okay, how do you measure what good is, right? So like,
just told you, I gave you examples, size and wealth.
But I don't think that's good. That this company, which he's like,
if you're a company and you sell your company to XYZ guy, and your company is however you want to measure it as far as size, your company is an acre, whatever the fuck it, just to give an example of a unit of measurement. And this guy then turns that same company into 5 acres, he's made your company better.
But what I'm saying is that the workers that work in that company, if they try to make their lives better as employees of that
Right.
company,
I'm just talking
and
about
he shuts them down. That's what
but
I'm
I'm
saying. Being a good businessman is inherently kind of evil, because you have to literally make profits over people the goal. You know what I mean? Like, so you have to be. It's inherently evil.
I just wonder if there's like a college, you know how there's college dudes just like bros before hoes, and they'll put that shit on t-shirts. I wonder if there's like billionaires hanging out together that says like profits over people.
I guarantee you those same douchebags that say bros before hoes turn into the profits before people.
Yeah, I just want to know if they're like if they make t-shirts out of it. You know, profits before people. Yeah, man.
But look at the fucking but that's the thing is that like, so when this guy says he's buying Twitter,
why is he buying Twitter? Like, what's his thing with Twitter? Like, I don't know how that's I don't know shit about Twitter. I don't know. And I mean, this seems to me like he's buying a huge NFT. I think he's just doing. It just seems to me like an NFT.
He's Lex Luthor rich. He's writing his name on the moon. Okay. That's what he's doing. He's Lex Luthor rich.
Hancock did that too.
Yeah. he
and he was a hero. See.
And in that movie, he fought his wife too. Wow.
Yeah, but he actually fought his wife.
He fucking fought his wife.
Yeah, but he didn't just lay down and fucking take it like a pussy.
Oh man, that's so fucked up.
In that movie, his wife didn't look at him with a face, and then he fought another guy because his wife looked at him with a weird face.
Yeah, I guess I gotta go fight this train now.
Yeah, I guess I gotta go fight Jason Bateman now because my wife gave me a look. I accidentally laughed at something that I thought was funny.
I'll tell you, but fuck, I can't believe we're still on that shit. But the idea, like at a certain point, like having that much money is inherently like at the expense of others. Like genuine, like slavery money still exists. Like all these rich people, like that all that.
So what's he gonna do with Twitter? What's he planning on Twitter? Do you have? I don't know.
He's claiming to be this paragon of free speech and all this stuff. Meanwhile,
what does that mean?
Blocked people. That he doesn't want to be. It wants it to be an open platform where people can say and do whatever they want. And
so so I have a friend of mine.
It's illegal.
I have a friend of mine who's John Wessling, comedian John Wessling, and he had a great idea. He goes, if it was me, I would let anybody on Twitter say whatever they want. However, everybody has to be verified. We have to know exactly who the fuck you are. Because freedom of
privacy on Twitter.
Yeah, because freedom of speech doesn't mean that it means you can say whatever you want, but we got to know who's saying it.
Yeah, like you have to log in with a social security number.
So verify everybody, give everybody a blue check, and then say whatever the fuck you want. So it's no longer John Smith, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Those
it's
little
no longer
profile pictures.
Exactly. It's no longer that shit. It's like say whatever you want, but we know exactly who you are. And so when you try to say something fucking crazy, and your employer goes, that's not cool. You can't be like, no, that wasn't me. No, it was you. Yeah. So I think that's a great idea. And I was like,
the reverse of privacy.
I think it's one of those things where I don't think it's reverse. I wouldn't see it as reverse of privacy. I would see it as accountability, as like, no, you're taking accountability for what the fuck you're saying. You want freedom of speech. You know what I mean? Like everybody
tried that. Facebook tried that. Where you had to use your real name.
You have to use your real name, right?
Yeah.
I never had an issue because I never tried to not use my real name.
Or your real name. I mean, like, but again, like people were up in arms about that.
Which is ridiculous to me. It's like, how dare this private company force me to use my real name because I want to use their product. It's like, but I mean, it's a private company.
I think it also had to do. The trans community was very upset about it because they were like, your account is not under your real name.
Right.
For the audio listener, I'm doing air quotes around real. That they were like, I can't live this site, whatever. So it was like, oh, you're transphobe. It's like, oh, it's trans people inherently can't use the thing, whether it's intentional or not. This guideline limits the people who want to live a certain way, or, like if I had to be Michael instead of Mike, shit like that. And then also,
I don't know how you don't go by Michael instead of Mike. After, I mean, if you grew up in a time with Knight Rider, you grew up in a time of Knight Rider. How do you not go with Michael? I would prefer Michael over that any day of the week.
Oh, there's a ghost. Oh no, it's a baby. It's a ghost baby. It's an X-Man baby. It's Kitty Pryde. What's happening?
Okay,
Elon Musk is evil. Elon Musk is evil. Billionaires shouldn't exist.
It's a ghost.
Come
All right.
on.
I was like, what dog is that? Dog.
On to lighter news.
Yes.
Johnny
The-
Depp and Amber Heard.
Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. It is fucking wild. So I've been watching a lot. I've been watching it, I guess, not all of it because it's hours upon hours, but I've been watching it and I'm just like, Jesus Christ, day upon day upon day of this guy testifying and having to. And then somebody posted on Instagram, and it was a woman, and it's important to this part of the story, saying like, they shared a TikTok where it was like, I've never seen so many men interested in domestic violence cases. Whatever, like saying it like a bad thing, like, oh, now you fucking paying attention to domestic violence. And in my mind, I was like, wait, are you really shitting on dudes for caring about dudes being in domestic violence cases?
That
Like-
smacks of bandwagon fan gatekeeping.
Yeah, it's like, oh,
Like,
now you're,
now you like the heat?
oh,
It's like,
now you,
well, then,
now
what are
you
talking
care.
about?
Now you care. I was like, wait, but shouldn't we?
Shouldn't
Wait,
we all
what?
care?
Shouldn't we all care all the time? Why are you mad about it now?
I think one of the major things about it is these two are part of each other's worst timeline.
Yes, in multi-universe, in the multiverse,
Yeah.
these two, like in the worst possible situations, you'll be hooked up with Amber Heard, and that's what's happened.
Well, we are in the darkest timeline. I think we've established that this is the darkest timeline. Like, there's somewhere out there, there's like a 2022 that is vastly different because Harambe lived or whatever. Rest in peace.
R.I.P.
Yeah. But I do. One of the things I think is important that people are like, if anybody is defending Amber Heard at this point, it says a lot about their character more than they realize. Because this is also the reason why there's novelty here is that it's one of the first major cases of a man being abused by a woman in like the levels of fame that entire movie franchises crumbled. You know what I mean? Like, it is a big deal. And I don't, there's people out there that like are still defending Amber Heard when she's like there's a straight up confession on tape that she hit him, and then everyone, including Amber Heard's people, are like, yeah, Johnny Depp's fine, she's crazy, like, or whatever.
There was
Today, did you see the dude in the car?
Did you see the dude? Did you see her attorney, Amber Heard's attorney, asked a doctor, like, oh, why did he need to go to the doctor, or why did he need? And then the doctor was like, well, he had his finger was and then they were like, did you see that? And he was like, what caused that? And then he said, oh, when she threw the bottle at him. And then he was like, objection, hearsay. And the fucking judge goes, he's just answering your question. Like, he literally objected to his own question.
You
and I
asked
was
the
like,
question.
what? That's like sitcom level
Yes.
court case. You know what I mean? Like, every time you have a sitcom in a court in a case, it's like, objection, your honor. It's like, what? You can't object to your own thing, dummy. And like, oh, I'm sorry. But this happened in real life.
Lionel Hutz from The Simpsons level.
Yes. Oh, good pull.
Lawyers.
Good pull. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. This is like genuine, cartoonishly, like, not bad, but like incompetent. Like, right. Yes. Like, I have zero short-term memory. I had no game plan coming in. And to be fair, there was a couple times, like, today there was a guy who they did his deposition or his questioning, or I don't know the legal terms, but they did his thing of in the car, where he was like sitting in the car. The motherfucker, literally by the end of it, they've asked him the same question like 1,000 times. He's fucking vaping. He blows a big ass cloud of smoke out of his nose, and he's like, I'm done with it. Like, he's like, I don't want to be asked these questions anymore. I'm done with this case. I don't care. I just want to move on from this. I've answered the question. Like, and everybody on the internet was like, he's us. He is us. We are so done with the back and forth, because it's insane to me how it's like lingering. Like, it is very obvious what's going on there, and there's still like some
Well,
back and
Stephanie,
forth.
Stephanie says she also took advantage of public opinion and people trying to promote the message of, quote, believe and support the victim. One of those people was Stephanie Mayer Sr., who has publicly.
Right.
No, she said this last week. She's like, I feel bad because she has waffled on which side she's taking publicly throughout the years. Like, this Johnny Depp fucking. And I was like, oh, okay, but okay. And it's so weird because I don't know what society just tells us to choose like your gender, your own gender. Like, oh, you have to back up your own gender, which I think is ridiculous and stupid. But for some reason, that's what society, that's what I've seen in my microcosm of like people who care about the story throughout the years. I've seen women side with the women immediately, and I've seen men side with Johnny immediately. And I'm like, wait, but what? Like, all of this is crazy though, right? Like, I'm like, we don't know anything. Like, we don't.
That yes,
My
that
whole
has
thing
always been an issue
for years. My whole thing has been, again, before all these details as far as the tape is being heard. For years, my whole thing has been, well, if he lost his job before the trial, why hasn't she lost her job before the trial? Like, that was always my issue. I was like, I don't understand. And this is coming from A, a fan of DC movies, B, a fan of the Aquaman movie, and C, a fan of her in the Aquaman movie. I think she did fucking great as Mera in Aquaman. And I'm still like, she should have lost that job though, right? Like, I'm sure, like, I'm just saying, like, if you're gonna fire him from Pirates before the trial comes out, then you gotta fire her from Aquaman before the fucking trial comes out. Like,
I do feel bad.
Fair?
Warner Brothers seems to be hiring a lot of criminals.
Warner Brothers
Ezra
seems
Miller
to be the fucking Vegas Raiders of the fucking movie company, of the movie of Hollywood. They seem to be the Raiders where they're like, what did you do to get kicked out of the other teams? Fuck it, we're cool with that.
Well, yeah, we're fine.
Can you still play? You can play very well. Then come on in.
Ezra Miller has got arrested twice
in
like 2 weeks
for the same shit, for beating up women.
Could you imagine the Warner Brothers people who are in charge of marketing the Flash movie, the upcoming Flash movie?
By the way, they're the ones. Warner Brothers is no, that's Disney, but Warner Brothers also fired Johnny Depp from the fucking
Fantastic Beasts. Yeah,
Fantastic Beasts. And I'm like, wait a minute. So you're gonna fire him before a trial. By the way, Johnny never got arrested, ever.
Never.
But Ezra's been arrested. But Ezra's been arrested twice, and you're like, we're gonna hear him out. Let's see what happens.
We'll see. ACAB.
That's
ACAB.
crazy.
You know? It's like, what? I don't understand Stephanie Mayer Sr. Like, I get it. If his addiction is bad, which is her claim, it sucks. I've been there. But you don't shit in the bed. I think that's one of the major things that's come out is like, it's proven. She was like mad at Johnny Depp and took a shit in the bed like a dog does. Like, have you ever had a dog shit or pee on something because out of spite?
I've never had any being, be it human or canine, shit in my bed. The closest I have come is when one of my children as babies would be in a diaper shitting in the bed, but like in their diaper, not on my actual bed. That's the closest I've ever been.
You put the diaper on the bed and you hold the baby up over it so shit falls in the bed.
And I have 3 children, and I've never had a being. Like, if I had a dog that shat on my bed, that dog's gotta go. Like, we're no longer at a point where I'm not saying kill it. I'm saying we're no longer at a point where you clearly don't respect me. So
you're not allowed in the house.
Yeah, this can't be fixed anymore.
I had my dog
shat on my bed.
My lifelong dog, my only dog, Max, rest in peace. R.I.P. Max. One time my brother, when we were young, we were like teenagers, right? Like old enough to know better. And my brother forgot to let him out because, house dogs are different. You let him out in the morning, you don't have to walk him as much. He forgot to let the dog out in the morning, so that when I get home from school, I walk in and I'm like, why is my dog inside? And I let the dog out, and I'm like, did somebody come home and let the dog in? And then I walk and I smell. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And I look in my brother's room. So my brother's room at this time had carpet, and he'd left his shoes out, and Max had shit into the shoe, like into the shoe, filling the shoe, and not a piece of poop fell outside of the shoe, like with amazing accuracy. And I was just like, I guess Tony deserved it. I guess my brother deserved it. Yeah. He's like, hey, you lock me inside. I got to shit somewhere. Guess what?
I've seen these shoes on you before. I know.
This smells like the culprit that left me in here.
Don't be tapping last season's Manolo Blancs on me, lady. Stephanie says, one of my brother's girlfriends pissed in his bed on purpose. Morning pee. Full on, lock the door, trash the room, squat, and leave. Man, I bet you that sex must have been amazing.
Oh, no.
Sex with that person must have been awesome.
I've never had, nor have I ever desired that experience of like.
No, I'm not talking about pee.
Dick and crazy? No. I know you're talking.
Oh yeah,
I know you're
I'm talking about like the crazier the chick, the better she is in bed. Type of the crazy hot scale that was made famous in How I Met Your Mother. It's true. Like the craziest women that I've ever dated, as far as they're usually going up, like who's the hottest chick you ever dated, and it's like I could tell you because I could also tell you how crazy they are. Like it's that type of one is the exception. One was super crazy and not hot, but that's different. They had different.
I do not have that shared experience with apparently everyone, but I
yes,
do
you
understand.
do, Mike. But you just don't remember because the girl told you to hit her, and you're like, no, I don't want to do that. And then somebody else.
Right, I don't put up with it. I'll get out.
Right.
I don't.
Right.
It's not like I keep going back for it. None of it.
No. You don't go back for it, but you do go, oh wow, she was great in bed, and then later on you find out she's crazy. You don't go back to it. You just go, oh.
That is, ironically is kind of like related to the current situation of like the woman lying about the abuse.
Correct.
It's come out a bunch of times. A bunch of stuff has come out that I've heard lied about a lot of shit too.
Hey, listen, I'm telling you right now, as a man, I have been in an abusive relationship where I have a scar on my fucking face. I have a scar on my chin to this day from being punched in the face. But for doing absolutely zero, I literally walked away from an argument. I was like, wow, and I walked away. And then I was followed to my car, and I opened the door to my car. And my car door had the window down, and she punched me, and I was like gushing blood, and I had to go, and I, did the whole thing. But I have a scar on my face to this day that if I were to shave my face completely, you would be able to clearly see it. Maybe, I don't know. It's been 20 years. Who knows?
But
my point is, like, I am a guy, and that was one of many times with this person that I could tell you I have been in an abusive relationship. There was a situation where one time we were walking down Kendall Drive, and I was like following her to be like, hey man, like to try to talk to her, and she kept on hitting me, and people stopped and would follow us to make sure that I wasn't doing anything wrong. There was a guy that was like, hey man, you can't do this to her. I'm like, I'm not doing anything. What are you talking about? Like, I was just trying to talk to this girl. And then but I remember then feeling like, oh, this could be a bad situation. Like, it was already a bad situation. I mean, legally it could turn into like
no, I look, and we're both pretty big guys. Like I'm a
not as much as I used to be. Am I right?
Hey, yeah.
That's just an easy way to say it.
Lean into those bits. You've earned them. I like as a gorilla of a person, whenever there's like a situation where there was any question, like like when girls flirt, they touch you, they get in your fucking space.
That's the rumor. That's what I've heard.
I've had girls put their hands in my fucking pants pockets, like without even like I'm like, and I had to literally put my hands up like this, and I turned to look at my friend, a woman. I'm like, hey, come get your friend. I'm like, get your hands out of my pocket. Like, I used my words, and I was like, hey, fuck off. Like, get your hand out of my pockets right now. Don't touch me. Right. And then she was like, oh my God. She was shocked. And then because I did not touch her, I could feel her wanting to escalate the situation. Right. But she couldn't because I hadn't reciprocated in a way that she could then use to her advantage. And I
just said stranger danger, stranger danger. Just yell that out.
I basically said stranger danger. and then my friend who I like, she saw me, she walked over, and then heard this girl like pulled her thing and was like, whatever, and just walked away. And because she was drunk, whatever. But it would not have been like if I walked up and put my hands into a woman's pockets and then I'm like, what? He's drunk. It's like, it's just one of those double standard things that one of the side, as someone who has been in a what I would call emotionally abusive relationship, one of the things that you're
married. That's what happened.
No. Well, that's one of the things also we talked about last time I was on, where I was like, when you learn, like, when you see I see in my wife, like, she'll do something amazing, and then I didn't realize like it was wrong, like in the past.
Yeah.
I'm like, fuck, that's right.
So wait, you don't scold me for not tying my shoes? Like it's a weird.
And that's one of the side effects of like the Me Too, like one of these unintended effects where like a bunch of men were like, hey, wait a minute, like where all of a sudden they're like, I was for sure. I was one of those people where I was like, oh, I have been a victim,
yes.
but then it's like, oh, you can't say, like you don't want to take the moment away from the real problem. That's like an all lives matter thing, where you're like, like Me Too. I mean, I get it. I get the bigger picture, but it's
me
also
as well.
I learned,
me as well.
But I learned.
You can't say me too because you're a guy, so you have to say me as well.
Me, not all.
Same Z's.
Yeah. Jinx, buy me Coke. But it was one of those things where you learn, like, oh, that was a beat. Now I don't have to take that.
I feel bad for this whole situation is awful, but I mean the whole Johnny Depp thing, I just feel bad for that guy. I mean, when you hear him talking about what he did for Pirates, because they asked him like, why would you say that you wouldn't go back to Disney for $1 million and 1,000 alpacas? And he started laughing.
Well, that's one of the things is also
you see the one he did today where they go, "You're a much bigger person than Amber Heard. Am I correct?"
Yeah, it was a couple days
ago. He's like, would you say that? And he's like, I wouldn't say that. No,
not really.
He's like, not necessarily.
Like, that's a bit.
Like,
nothing insults you more than the truth.
I've seen her take down some pizza. I mean,
oh my God. Here's the thing: she's a shitty person and should be taken to task. It's called accountability. I hold everyone equally accountable.
That's all I'm saying. That's all I've said for years. I never quote unquote took Johnny's side because it was Johnny Depp or because I liked his movies or because he's a bigger star or because he's a man. I was always like, wait, they're already firing him before the trial? That's kind of shitty. And then when I was like, well, if they're gonna do that, they're gonna fire her too, right? And then when nothing happened, I was like, well, that seems fucking weird.
Yeah.
And I literally even said this. I go, they must know something that hasn't come out publicly, because why would any company choose to not, like, they would get in trouble if they did, I said that years ago. I remember saying Warner Brothers must know something that the public doesn't know yet that's gonna come out later on.
Yes, I remember that being something where they're like, you'll see.
And then it never happened, and then now it's the opposite, where the more information that comes out, the worse Amber Heard looks, and you go, oh, this is not looking good on Warner Brothers, because she should have been fired. Again, I just think for me, it was about fairness. It wasn't about gender. It was like, if you're gonna fire one person before the trial, right, then you got to fire both people before the trial. I don't think you should fire anybody before the trial. FYI, just
right. Yeah, innocent until proven guilty. And he brought it up in the trial. Like, he's like, they fired me, and it was like, oh, what? And then at a certain point, I was guilty until proven innocent. Correct. And he lost the jobs. And to be like,
that's really, what's gonna happen with Will Smith. Is like, he's like, they're firing him from all these jobs. He had, like, you haven't proving him guilty yet. Oh wait, we got that on tape. Oh, never mind. That's not exactly the same thing.
I mean, who knows if he really slapped Chris Rock? It's like, that's how we are.
Let's hear both sides out, guys. Like, what?
Mm-hmm. But that's like,
that sucks about Netflix. Netflix canceled his fucking Bright Part 2 movie. I like that movie a lot, and it
was fine. I know, like, the fact that these jobs are getting taken away is it all has to do with like public relations and
Yeah.
and optics, what they call optics now, and all the optics of the situation and blah blah blah. But it's just an excuse to like knee jerk, like there has to be clauses in these contracts where these things are still like if
You
Warner
think there's a
Brothers.
clause where like if you slap somebody in the Oscars on live television, you're gonna get
There
this job?
has to be. I wish we could talk to if you slap somebody like so specific.
Yeah,
You know?
like a very specific. If you slap a black man, C1A. If you slap a white man, C1B. And then if you slap an old lady,
Oh, did I freeze? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Is it me?
no, it's probably me. My Wi-Fi was acting up.
Oh.
Stephanie says that was part of her taking advantage because, yes, more often than not, the burden of proof falls on the victim, and that's unfair. In a post Me Too world, what we were trying to change that for the greater good, and she jumped in right during that wave. I think what ended up happening is that there was and I don't think I'm wrong for saying this, Stephanie, I'm sure we'll chime in if she disagrees. I think there was a massive overcorrection.
Inherently, yeah.
Where
There's
it's
always gonna
just,
be that.
where it's just like agreeing with what Stephanie said, that pre-Me Too movement, there was a never believe the woman, never believe the victim, and most of the time, a huge portion of the time, the victim is the female, is the woman, and society would never believe the woman, or it was you have to show me the burden of proof if you're the victim. And that's awful and that's horrible. But I think we went so much into the overcorrection where we're like, that is awful. You know what? Now anybody ever claims that they're a victim, we immediately have to not only believe them, but immediately fire, arrest, and just totally decimate the one being accused. And again, has been proven time and time again throughout the years, there's been people who have been caught in that. What the fuck? I'm not the same as that. That wasn't what happened to me.
Every cause has opportunistic people who will use it for their advantage, and that's honestly like a big problem with literally everything. Like there's always going to be someone trying to make money off of Black Lives Matter or try to make money off of Me Too.
Brie Larson got in trouble for that. You remember Brie Larson's Me Too? She claimed that she was when everybody was coming forward with their story, she claimed that a TSA agent said that she was pretty and asked her for her number. And I'm not dulling it down. That's what she said.
That was the extent of the approach.
And they were like, that's not it. And then everybody on Twitter raked her through the coals. Like that was.
But that's the thing is that there's this like that's one of the things about Twitter is that if you don't curate your Twitter well, it's literally just this like mob, this swarm of people ready.
That's what I tell you in Watkins. That's what I tell you in Watkins. You guys don't curate your Twitter, and your Twitter's full of fucking people who spoil shit that you want.
It's hard to separate out. No, trust me. I've gone through and I did a culling of like people who are like following brands. Like fuck you. Like what am I doing?
I remember
following movie account. Like fuck you. From 20
I remember you got mad at me. You were like, "Oh really? You didn't know about this and this character in the show?" And I'm like, "I did it. I just saw it yesterday. I just found out about it yesterday." And it was like a month after the show ended.
A lot of the news sites are lumped in with a lot of the quote unquote news sites. So like when I do like, I want to hear about this, I want to hear about, but now I follow very specific things and I don't go looking. But the point being is that Twitter can be this like if you use it like it can be like a grimy place. So and
that's what that's all I feel Twitter is. Twitter's just like a negative space where I'm just like, I don't like, and I'm not, and no social media, there's no social media platform that's free of it, 100% of it. But I just feel like Facebook is very political, where people go to argue, at least my Facebook, and then I'm speaking for myself, that I feel like every time I go on Facebook, it's very political and people are arguing over politics still, no matter what year it is, no matter what month it is. And then Twitter is very racial, and then I that's why I like Instagram so much, because I'm like, I'm just gonna stay in this pocket. Like I like this, and again, I
wants to delete everything. Part of me,
no. I often think about that. I often think about if I was not a comedian, if I was not in the entertainment or trying to be in the entertainment industry, I wonder how much of that I would actually care, because I don't think I would care as much. I know I care. Like when my Instagram went down, there was an issue. I mean, I shed tears.
Yeah, you were so upset.
There was a situation. But again, all that was because played into I worked hard on this. Like I put hours and hours of fucking like networking and creating content and all this. Like I put hours into this shit, and then for it to be deleted is like deleted and not told why. I was like, what did I do wrong? And they're like, it could be one of these 17 things or others. And you're like, but that doesn't tell me what I did wrong. Now I feel, just tell me what I did wrong.
Did you name this episode Stranger Danger?
Yes.
Did you know we were gonna? Did you say
Clearly,
that because?
clearly, no, I just realized as we said it, I go, I wonder if I could change the name because that would be a good title for the fucking episode. And I haven't named a title in an episode in a very long time, but you know, when it comes down to editing the audio, I always forget what the fuck we talked about, and I'm like, oh shit, right? So there's an edit button.
I'm sorry, I derailed everything, but I just realized that you did that. Well, look, I'll tell you about your
How
Instagram.
fucking I could just tell the future. I'm like, oh, we're gonna talk about.
Wow, I was like, I thought you named it that for something related to the idea, and then you were like throwing it in when I did.
I shoehorned that bitch in there, like,
yeah.
Danger. It's like the title of the movie, saying the title of the movie. Like, what are we, some kind of Suicide Squad?
Yeah. I'm gonna fuck you up, mall rat.
Yeah. Oh, there she is, the Titanic. Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
The biggest cruise ship in the world.
The Matrix. They say that shit a bunch.
So often. They do that with every superhero movie though. You can't do a superhero movie.
Yeah.
And not say the name of the superhero.
Yeah. It's like, well, have you noticed that they tried it? Like Marvel has tried to do that, and like, have they said the name Moon Knight at all in the new show?
I haven't watched the show. It hasn't ended yet.
Yeah, you're right. But like, have they said Hawkeye? They did Hawkeye. Well, the show was called Hawkeye, but the girl is Hawkeye. Right.
So they said the phrase Hawkeye. The one time they said Hawkeye previous to the show was in the original
Endgame.
Thor. The original Thor, when he's up in the fucking Raptors, and Sam Jackson comes and he's talking to the doctor.
Yeah.
And the doctor
calls him the Hawk.
No, he goes, oh, you have your you have your Hawkeye out there. Because he's watching
him the Hawk. He calls him the Hawk. He does not say Hawkeye. The first time that they say the word Hawkeye is when he calls his daughter that. Where he's like, good shot there, Hawkeye. That's literally the only time.
Man, I want to go back to what now, and I hate that movie Thor. Fuck now.
Now you have to watch it again, Neri.
My pedantic ass is like, I gotta fucking see who's right. I gotta see.
Oh, God, I was gonna say. Oh, have you noticed that on social media, and I noticed this on TikTok more, and I guess on Instagram Reels, it's a thing. I like they're all kind of blending in together. That everybody now is the host of a show of their life. You know what I mean? Like when they talk everything has to be presented. Like no one just says something to the camera anymore. No one's like, hey, here's a video of me doing a thing. Like everyone is, and then like they present it in a way like.
What do you mean? Wait,
God,
give me an example.
It's hard to find an example like because it's such a general thing. Like it's a vibe, but with the way people talk to their phones now as they're recording, everybody.
Oh, I do that. That's all I do on Instagram stories.
No, but you're a performer. Like you're
right.
you. This
I'm not embarrassed. I'm saying like, oh, I'm giving you an example of like, yeah, I do it.
But I wish it was. But you're promoting a comedy thing.
What are you talking about? Are you talking about TV shows? What are you talking about?
No, it's TikTok or
okay. I don't watch TikTok, so I get that. But all right. So there's a TV show that you're gonna get upset at me for saying this, but I've broken my rule of waiting for the show to be over to watch the show. That's how good this fucking show is. That's how great this show is. It's called Winning Time. It's on HBO Max. It's about the fucking 1979-1980 season of the LA Lakers.
Oh, with Magic?
Yeah, Magic. John C. Reilly as Dr. Buss, the owner of the Lakers, the one who bought the Lakers that year.
I saw the thing on HBO Max.
Right. So I did not. For the audio listener, Mike insinuated that he saw the banner on HBO Max promoting the show. I didn't. I thought this was a mini series type of deal. I didn't know this was multiple episodes. So when I went to go watch it, I thought it was going to be like a one-off. So I watched the first episode, and then they're like, "Oh, watch episode 2 now." I'm like, "Oh, this must be a 2-part series or whatever." And I watched the second episode, and I was
I
fucking
think this is a
so hooked.
Oh.
I was so fucking hooked that I was like, "When the fuck did the next one come out?" And then it was like every Sunday, and now we're 8 episodes in, and I'm like, "It's Sunday, time to fucking watch Winning Time." Like I'm become that guy. The same guy that I say that I'm not to any other show. I'm still on episode 4 of Boba Fett. Like I'm still haven't watched the entire series of Boba Fett. But yet,
I mean,
and
you
again,
could just watch the recap videos.
But again, I think I'm enjoying the Boba Fett.
It's great. It was great to watch, but it's definitely like, but I understand what you're saying. Like you're now one of the people who you used to mock.
Oh, I don't know about mocking, but I just said like that wasn't my thing. But I think what the reason was, my reasoning is because I did it unintentional. Like it was organic. It was like, oh, this is good. I want to watch another one. When do I get to watch that? And I just haven't been able to contain myself and being like, I'll just wait 10 weeks. Like, nah, this is really fucking good. And I'm sure if I watch something else while it's airing, that's that great, like The Witcher or whatever the fuck, I'm sure I would have, if I would have had to be forced.
That's the thing is that they don't. Okay, so this was also the news that Netflix lost like $200 billion or some crazy shit like that.
Because of shared passwords.
Yeah, that's what it is. Because they're raising prices, cracking down on people sharing it, and also canceling their show. Like that's a huge. I don't really watch Netflix as much as I used to, but they can't. People complain that they cancel shows that are like good and leave everybody on cliffhangers. You know,
right?
Like why wouldn't they invest in the shows that like what in their algorithmic thinking is doing that? But then I'm also like,
I have a huge problem with Netflix in the last 2 years where they changed the rating system. We used to be able to give them a star rating, remember, 1 through 5, and they changed it to either thumbs up or thumbs down, one or the other. Right. And then they changed the algorithm. They publicly said that if you watch it for more than 20 seconds or 50 seconds, whatever, but it was seconds. It was like a minute, then it counts as a watch. And I'm like, well, that's not what? 60 seconds? It should be a percentage of whatever the fuck we're looking at here. It should be a percentage. If you watch more than 25% of something and then you stop watching it, that means something. That should mean something more than just, you know what I mean? Like if I'm watching a special, like, and I'm speaking specifically for comedy, if I'm watching a comedy special and it's an hour-long special and I watch for 10 minutes and I stop watching, that's a sign. It's fucking bad.
Yeah, I did not watch this.
I did not quote unquote watch this. It should be fucking go against the algorithm of whatever special that is. And that's where they kind of lost me in the sense of like, oh, I don't like that you're doing this. I'm not gonna like. Don't get me wrong.
So what I was getting at is that we've always disagreed on that weekly release schedule that they just dump shit out at they do a binge watch, which. When this kind of streaming service started, it worked because there wasn't any other alternative. And now it's kind of ironic because what people want to like weekly release television. Like those are the shows that are popular and people talk about. Euphoria was out; it was all over Twitter. I haven't watched the show, but I know about it.
I haven't seen
how many Twitter shows
I have
drop.
Zero knowledge of the show,
except for who exists.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like, how many shows are there on Netflix where it's like, like Raising Dion? That was a show that got canceled, and people were like upset about it. And I was like, I don't even fucking heard about that show.
Never heard of that.
That's the problem is that
I'm trying to, by the title, I'm trying to think of what the fucking show is about. I'm trying to make a show.
Is it Raising?
I'm trying to create a show based upon just the way you said it. I'm like, Raising Dion. So it's Dion Cole. And he is a single man that finds out that he's fathered a child, but the child is more of an adult than he is.
Oh,
We're
I love
now
that.
raising Dean.
Crazy. But that's what it is. Like the premise. That's a great show actually. I would watch Dion Cold do that.
How do you mean Netflix?
The premise is, and look, I feel like I would love this show. Raising Dion follows the story of a woman named Nicole who raises her son Dion after the death of her husband Mark. The normal dramas of raising a son as a single mom are amplified when Dion starts to manifest several magical superhero-like abilities. Nicole must now keep her son's gifts secret with the help of Mark's best friend Pat and protect Dion from people out to exploit him while figuring. Yeah, it's
My
a classic
daughter was
superhero
watching
story.
this. My daughter was watching this, and I was like, "What are you watching?" I watched like 10 minutes of it just to make sure it was like suitable, and I was like, "This is pretty cool." She's like, "Yeah, I remember that now. I remember that now." Black kid? Is it black kid?
Black kid.
Yeah.
But like,
Can I just tell you, I love the fact that my daughter's all up into all the black shows. I fucking think it's awesome.
Really? That's funny.
She's oh my god, she's sister. She watches that religiously.
Who doesn't love Sister?
I'm not saying they're not good shows. I'm just saying that I love the fact that she herself, by herself, has gravitated towards these primarily black shows. Like it doesn't. The quality.
She's finding her tastes.
She's finding her own taste, and she's raising Dion, whatever the show, whatever the name of the show is. She found that on her own. She's doing all of these shows. There was another show with I want to say, was it Jackie? I want to say who it was. I forget who it was, but it was on Netflix for one season or so far, and though it was a former
you mean?
Yeah, it was a former NFL player. Was it Jack A? Who was it? No, it was Tia. One of the sisters is all grown up and she has kids, and then she got married to a former NFL player and they moved back to North Carolina or something like that. And again, it was all black cast. It was a great show, and there's nothing about the quality. I just love the fact that my kids are gravitating to this on their own. Like I'm not, you know what I mean? Like I did show them Family Matters, but in all fairness, I showed them Family Matters after they've already seen Tia and Tamara, after they were, sister and whatever.
It just goes to show you, like I have like, oh god, Chiquita was watching Squid Game. She was catching up with Squid Game.
Right.
The only reason people like really shared Squid Game is because when it dropped, it was an entirely foreign language show, and it was incredible. It's great, but like people,
I'm waiting for 3 seasons to drop so I can binge out one time.
But it's one of those things where like that was like a rare case. Witcher should have been the biggest show of this year.
I'm actually I'm gonna give you credit on this one because I've only seen season 1, which I thought was great and loved. I did not even notice that season 2 dropped until I saw your complaint about it on social media. And they're like, "What the fuck? We should be talking about Witcher season 2." I'm like, "We will when it drops, Mike. Take it easy."
Yeah.
You're like, "It fucking came out 2 weeks ago." I'm like, "Oh fuck."
Oh yeah, my point has been proven.
I'm the problem.
Yeah. But that Chiquita's watching Stranger Things now to catch up because the new one's coming out. Right. And every time
I still haven't finished season 3.
Every time Stranger Things drops, I'm like, if they release this weekly, it would be the summer of Stranger Things every time. And they're doing, I got tickets to this event that's going to be happening. I like Stranger Things, but also like the idea of nostalgia programming. It's like a big focus of like 80s. Remember the 80s? But also the show's like
just call him member. You member.
But she's watching it now, and every time I watch it, I keep getting reminded of like, as big as Stranger Things is, it would I guarantee you it would have been even better.
I would tend to agree with the whole being a bigger part of the conversation. Like I see your side of the argument, and that I personally don't like it as far as watching it that way, but I do agree with it would be more in a zeitgeist if you just release it, or maybe not do week to week, maybe do 2 episodes at a time, and then like
a lot of them are dropping the first 2 episodes as a hour-long premiere, and
so I can see that. I can see people talking about shows more or for longer than if there was dropped that way. I could see that. I still prefer to binge it all at one time because that's just who I am. But I get what you're saying. I'm tending to agree with you.
Yeah, I appreciate
Winning Time on HBO Max, fucking phenomenal. Love that show.
That show looks good. We have to legally mention Amber Heard versus Johnny Depp is wild. And Tropicana has lost their mind.
lost their
And
ever
the
loving mind.
NFL draft
Tropicana,
is a day away. So now we've said all of the things. I'm happy. Okay, good.
Tropicana is now just today announced that they are releasing a cereal meant to be eaten with orange juice and not milk.
I don't know if I
Fuck 'em.
hate it.
No,
I don't know if I hate the idea. If it's like if you're putting orange juice on Lucky Charms, then the problem is not the juice or the Lucky Charms. The problem is you. But if something is made to go with orange juice, like I don't mind it. I don't see the problem there. I wonder, like, I would try it, but I don't see the dilemma. Also, like, the more and more I get exposed to like different flavor profiles, you realize that everything is just a mix of sweet and sour. Like you realize you're like, you could put something with orange juice and make it taste a certain way.
Well, I've become this guy. This is the guy that I've become. Ready for this? I've become the guy that immediately when I heard Tropicana and orange juice, I go, how much sugar's in that?
Yes. Yeah.
I've become that guy. I used to hate that guy, and now I'm the guy that I've become what I hated my whole life. I'm like
weekly TV shows, counting sugar carbs.
But that's not only that. It's not even. It's totally subconscious. Immediately, the story breaks. Tropicana come out with a cereal. I'm like, how much sugar would have to be in that fucking? Like, you don't understand how much sugar is in fucking Tropicana orange juice to be drinking an entire bowl of that shit. Like, that's immediately what I thought of, and I was like,
you want to know how much sugar is in milk? You want to know what lactose is? Lactose is sugar. So like it's like but it's already.
But you could get other. There's no 1% orange juice. It's orange juice.
It's just it's like from concentrate.
Yeah.
Remember you used to get the orange juice from concentrate, those little cans.
Yeah.
And then you mix it with water.
Fucking mash it. In the big ass serving platter. Like, Jesus.
1% orange juice is that in a 55-gallon drum of water. You're just like,
All right. Let's see here. Wait, let's do some.
What was the NFL draft thing?
The draft is in 2 days. I didn't know what else to put. I always like putting 3 topics, and I don't know what else to put.
Rule of 3.
Okay, so let's go comments. Yolanda talked about Jussie Smollett, and Stephanie said Instagram is 100% just keeping up with the Joneses, and super bad, also shitty for mental health, depending on who you follow. I don't have that algorithm. I think she's just curated really bad algorithms. My Instagram, we've looked at to the listener, Mike, myself, and our friend Will Watkins has been in a chat talking about like all I get is fucking on Instagram is spoilers, and we went through like the search profile, the search Explore tab. And apparently everybody's Explore tab is different. And like mine is literally like news about the 49ers and look at this hot chick in a bathing suit that's promoting her OnlyFans. That's pretty much what my fucking on dogs. Like, look at this cute puppy. Like, that's what it is. A lot of dogs. So
that's what my TikTok is. My TikTok is a lot of people doing oddly satisfying things like building stuff and sanding wood and turning on stuff on a lathe and making bowls. And
my TikTok is cooking, no carb cooking.
Yes,
my TikTok is no carb cooking, and then ant farms.
Oh, that's awesome. I love that. Also, I get a ton of music. Like, I get a ton of music because I'm obsessed with drummers,
I think Stephanie's the fact that she's saying that Instagram is 100% just keeping up with the Joneses and super bad, also shitty for mental health. I guess
she might
I think
not be talking about herself though. It is genuinely true.
I think she is. She said, "Oh my God, that guy was the actual worst." Talking about Jussie Smollett. More theatrics than impulse.
TikTok. TikTok wannabe stars. It's hard to put a pin on exactly. I wish I had an example to show you. If I come across one in the future, I will send it to you.
Stephanie says that Netflix has canceled most of the Latino-led shows, and that was obnoxious. Shows that there were like 2 seasons and then gone. I think it. Well, that show went on for more than 2 seasons, and it wasn't good. And that's all I have to say about that. I didn't like that show at all, and I don't give a fuck. And I'm the one that introduced that show to my wife.
Didn't you used to think it was good?
No, I
Were you
always
singing
watched
its
it.
praises because of a
No.
Latino?
I supported
thing?
Rita Moreno, and then simultaneously saying I'm supporting anything that Rita Moreno's in. Also, Rita Moreno is awful in this. Her accent is atrocious.
Oof.
Yes, I say it. Call it how it is, people.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
okay.
Call it how it is, peoples.
Us.
Peoples. Yolanda agrees that totally sucks, and it's a superhero kid. So
That's
everybody
Raising
knew her.
Dion. Why
Yeah.
watch it now though? Because they canceled it. So like it's a great show. Yeah, but it's done and it's not finished. So why the fuck would I even go back and look at it?
And then Yolanda said vodka and champagne. I don't know what
You
that's in
mix
reference to.
orange juice. You mix the orange.
Oh,
Like
that's
there's
right.
plenty of stuff you can mix orange
That's how
juice.
much of a non-alcohol driven person I am that I was like, I don't even know why she would mention those things. We have not talked about anything that would go good with those things. Oh wait, there's orange juice.
There's literally that is the drink that bit me though. You know, like there's the drunkest, the most gross drunk I've ever been was from screwdrivers. So I can't have orange juice and it was like high school, it was like prom. And it
Yeah.
was literally like, what can we get our hands on? And it was a big jug, like jugs of vodka and then orange juice, and that was it. We were just kind of like mixing the two things. And I cannot tell you.
Yeah, when you
how
add
bad
sugar
that-
to anything, any sugary drink will fuck you up, and then you're adding all the sugar.
I woke
And
up at a
I love the
Denny's.
fact that people don't understand how much sugar is in orange juice. They think,
It's
oh, this
very
is
bad
orange
for
juice,
you.
it's healthy,
Don't
and
drink
it's
it
like
anymore.
super bad. Apple juice, all these juices, even if they're natural, it's really
sugar.
bad. Like the amount of sugar, the amount of like somebody put it to me this way: it's like, do you know how many oranges you have to squeeze to get a fucking entire glass of orange juice? You know how many? Like if you just eat a orange, you're fine. If you eat the 17 oranges it took to make this glass of fucking juice, you'd be like, what the fuck? That's a lot of oranges. Yeah, that's what you're doing.
That's it.
All right. Am I the asshole? Hit me.
Oh, I have so there's a thing I found called Am I the Devil? And it's literally
So funny.
just the people where the
Literally just
gonna-
our ex-girlfriends.
yeah.
Ask
The devil. It's literally like where the Am I the Asshole submission where everyone is like, yeah, you know, like so obviously the asshole where you're so,
Right.
So like literally these are just some of the titles. Am I the asshole for telling my daughter she needs to get her priorities in check? And then it's literally about her like raising her children, and it's like, yeah. Am I the asshole for taking a less qualified worker that's a guy to a seminar because I didn't want to take a female coworker with me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Am I the asshole for telling my flight attendant cousin that she should be at least be happy she has a job? I don't know. That might actually be interesting.
Yeah.
But there's some that if you read that it's like, am I the asshole because I've impregnated my sister-in-law? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, why would you post this?
So give me a real one.
A
'cause
real one. Okay.
Those are all Am I the Devils. Those are all like one
Am I
sided.
the asshole? This is actually not an Am I the asshole. This is from an Am I the asshole that became a bigger post. My best guy friend just told me he's in love with me 2 days before my wedding. I've been with my fiance for 3 years, engaged for a little over a year. My best friend and I have known each other since freshman year of college. We are all in our early 30s. This morning, I woke up to a long-ass text from my guy best friend that he had sent around 6 a.m. 6 a.m. That's a long night for that guy.
And
So
a text message. So
Yeah.
you can't recall that back. Because you know there was multiple times where he's like, I'll send it back.
Basically, it was him pouring his heart out. It always is. He said he's been in love with me for years, but always hoped I'd end up breaking up with my fiance and finally noticing him. He asked me to call off the wedding and run away with him. And there's like a bunch of question marks. Like, what? I said I needed to tell it said I needed to tell you before it was too late. I just feel gross and sad. I have no feelings for him beyond platonic love. I've drafted a response and deleted it over and over. I haven't even told my fiance. I don't want him to have to worry about me so soon to our wedding. I know I need to, but I don't know what to do or how to phrase it. What's worse is he's become my fiance's friend too. He's fucking got in there. He's infiltrated. I'm also pretty pissed that my friend chose such an unfortunate time to cause me such distress. Like the worst possible. Like even if she did have a feeling for him, it would be like now, like fuck you. There were so
You know how
many
much money
times.
we spent on the wedding?
Yeah. Wait, leave this. What? Even if I wanted to, we made deposits. But waiting until there were so many times over the years he could have just bucked up and told me how he felt. But waiting until right before I'm married, like I would cancel my wedding and leave my fiance because of a goddamn text. Chris Kringle. I want to tell him to not come to the wedding. I can't trust that he wouldn't try to pull something. I don't even know if
Like
I
a
want to,
Dwayne Wade?
like a Brooklyn Nine-Nine Teddy situation.
No, it was that, but I was thinking about more like a different world where
Oh yes,
I was-
the thought of not having him at my wedding is really painful. He's put me in an uncomfortable, impossible situation. I wish it wasn't on me to deal with his feelings for him. Oh, to deal with his feelings for him.
Yeah.
I wish he had either stopped being friends with me when he realized us ending up together would never happen, or had told me a while ago, which is okay. I don't want to kick him while he's down, but I need to make it clear that I have no feelings. The wedding is still on, and I don't want him to attend. We have been friends for over a decade. I've been crying over this all day. I feel almost disgusted knowing that this whole time he had ulterior motives. How do I even go about dealing with this? I'm supposed to get married in under 48 hours. Edit. I'll be showing the text to my fiance after he gets home from his brother's. I won't send anything until he's here with me. Now.
I had the perfect response that she should text back. The reply.
Okay.
LOL.
Ah! Oh, shit.
LOL.
Damn.
You send that LOL. That's it, brother. He fucking clear shot a gun through the fucking bow.
Yeah, no
where
warning
he's
shot.
like-
That is a lethal
Lethal
that is
blow.
A Ralph Wiggum's Heartbreaking on TV where they slow it frame down. Right now is where his heart is breaking.
Yeah, you just do that, and then he goes, and then if he still has the fucking balls to be like, no, I'm serious, and she could reply, no, really.
I am too. Yeah.
LLLO, like just like make it clear. That's what I would do. Like that's would be her letting him down easy, because it's like, LOL, you told me,
Right.
you got it off your chest. I'm laughing this off. I'm choosing to laugh this off to let you know.
Right.
It's not gonna happen.
The reason why this resonated so much with me and that I saved it, I'm like, I have to read it on the show, is because I've never read a more perfect the expectations versus reality of like the more perfect reaction of like what you're really doing to the person when you declare your love.
Have you ever professed your love via note or letter or text?
6th grade. Yep. Put a note in a girl's locker and then denied I did it because I'm a fucking coward.
I friend in college, first year in college, put it in her purse. Wrote a little note, put it in her purse.
Yeah.
She never brought it up.
Ooh. 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 Oh no.
And we hung out every day for 2 semesters after that.
Oh no. Oh my god. Oh, but
Brutal.
to
We
be
had classes together. Yeah, we were good friends for 2 semesters. We were good friends.
Yeah.
We like, oh, what class are you gonna take? We should take the same teacher. Like after the letter.
Oh, man, I have done the fumbled professional, the confession of love when I wasn't ready, where
Right.
someone was like, wait, what are you saying? And I'm like, I have not thought it through enough to be able to say words. And I always thought that
I did it again like 3 years later. I did it to another friend.
Are you fucking kidding me?
I swear to God.
Yeah.
I'm just remembering. After year, I'll tell you who these people are, and you'll be like, what the fuck?
How did you do the second one? A note in the purse because it worked so good the first time.
A note in the CD case logic when they asked me, "Hey, can I borrow this CD?"
And
Yeah,
we're married and have 3 cats.
Yeah. How do you think the story's gonna end, Mike? How do you think the story's gonna end? Yeah.
Fuck. I'm like in pain a little bit, but it is
That one called me out though. That one was like, "What does this mean?" Like that one was like, and I wasn't ready for that kind of like confrontation.
Like
Which is the
angry.
reason
Was she
why-
angry? Because
No, wasn't angry. Wasn't angry. Like, what? I need to know what this means. What does
she
it mean,
was when
bro?
here's the thing. I don't think dudes realize, because I've been on the other side of this too, where it's like I've been where like Stephanie Mayer Sr. Neri is hosting a scavenger hunt of heartbreak. Follow my clues and you will find a destroyed soul. Oh my god. I don't think dudes like realize how the rug gets pulled out from a girl who has put you in this. You've put yourself in this box of, well, let's be friends, because guys do it to themselves. You have the choice to not be making yourself miserable. But Paul F. Tompkins has a great thing on his crying and driving special about this whole thing, where you like you think you're gonna be, you're gonna run off and go kiss at the train station under a big clock, like it's a movie, but which is one of my favorite lines of his. But then he says that he was met with feelings of anger and betrayal, because that's the thing. Like when you're friends with someone you trust, and that I think this is a very real like expression of like that betrayal of like, he's been like all the times that I thought he was just my friend, he's been having this whole other secret life underneath a certain, like, it's so gross.
I don't think it's gross.
At this level where she's getting married,
I don't think that's gross. I think that's I think she's letting her angst speak for her as far as the words she's choosing. It's uncomfortable, sure, but you're saying the way she said it, I didn't appreciate that. I get where she's coming from, and I'm with her.
Believe it.
But I don't think it's gross. I don't think that what the guy was doing was gross, especially because
she's saying that she feels gross because, like, she even says this. She's like, I feel almost disgusted knowing that this whole time he had ulterior motives.
And I don't think you see that phrase ulterior motive. It has such a negative slant to it, where it's like, I'm only your friend because I want something more. When in reality, it doesn't have to be one or the other. In reality, it could be I'm your friend with hopes of something else, but not only because of something else. Do you understand? Those two things are not
spot, man. I don't think there's enough nuance in. Well, again, we're only going by what's written here.
Yeah, we're only going by. I'm just going by what I've done personally, where it's like, hey, man, I'm friends with you, and I would like something else. But if we don't get something else, that's fine with me just being friends. And that doesn't mean, hey, I'm only here because I want something else. That makes it sound like dirty and like I'm only here because I want some of that sweet, sweet kitty. It's like that's like other level where I'm like, I mean, again, she could be right.
Don't ever do that again. Don't do that to me ever again. Don't you ever say that to me
I'm gonna whisper
or around me.
I'm gonna whisper it in your ear next time I see you. Well, first I get a stepladder, and then I'll whisper it in your ear.
I'll come down. I'll come down.
Come here. Kitty.
Fucking A.
Come here.
I'm so bad. Oh man, I think yeah. Stephanie Mayer,
hard agree with Mike because you're more vulnerable with friends. If we know the person is interested in us, then we decide on our own to let them in on. Again, I understand. I'm not saying that it's not uncomfortable for you.
You just wanted to be okay what you did.
I
just wanted the kitty. Make it okay that I wanted the kitty.
All right. I think that I think that the two are not mutually exclusive. I think it could very well be that the guy was only her friend to get there.
Right.
But it could also very much be it's a guy that wanted more, but it's okay. But
no, I think from what here's again, we have what's written here. She writes and quotes, like, I guess from referencing what is that he had always wanted and always hoped that she would leave
Right.
her fiance.
But okay, just because you're always hoping for it doesn't mean that you're only there for that reason.
God,
You get
it's
me?
hard for me. I don't know if I could be that.
I can separate the two because that
nuanced.
literally has happened to me. I'll tell you. I'll give you the descriptions later.
I get it.
We'll
I
talk.
know. I know like I know that other experiences exist outside of my own, but my personal experiences have led me the other way, where I'm
Right.
like, oh no, thank you. All the kitty aside, I cannot. Like no, thank you. And I've also been met with like anger and betrayal when I didn't want to be friends with somebody, and I was like, oh, I just like I don't know if that's what I could tolerate or be a part of right now, because it's not emotionally whatever what I wanted. And then they were mad at me. Oh, you don't want to be my friend? And I'm like,
You way too much.
what?
So you told this chick. You wait.
No, that was also a bad thing I did wrong. Like, yeah,
I know. I just
but it
love
wasn't
bringing it
about
up
the. I
whenever I
lied.
get a chance.
I lied
Whenever I get a
about.
chance. Yeah, but she knew you lied. She wrote about it in her blog.
Oh,
later.
for sure. Yeah. Yeah. No, that was a big old L. That was a hard fail for me.
Emphasize on the big.
I will say this is.
I gotta go. We gotta go.
Another reason why I did this is because there is an update, and I'm going to read it, and we're going to leave it at that.
Okay.
And I'm going to read it fast. Okay. My husband. I love being able to call him that now. And
Wait, which one is her husband?
Exactly. And I got I got back from our honeymoon yesterday. I turned on my phone and opened the Reddit app, and it was still signed into this account. So I had a moment, and I figured I'd post an update. So a lot of people were really helped validate the icky mess of feelings I was having. Thank you for that. Posting here really helped put my thoughts into words. So that night, my fiance got home from his brother's. I let him sit down, and then I showed him the text. He read it, and I watched his eyes get bigger and expression angrier. Of course, I started apologizing like an idiot, and he told me I didn't owe him an apology for anything. We talked, and he told me he figured the guy had a crush but kept it respectful. That's the Nary. And really, he had. That's not the Nary.
I like the fact that we've now coined that
the
move.
Nary.
Oh, the Nary.
So next time you do the "What's a Nary" joke, that's what Nary. That's a Nary right there. And really, he had. We were close, but beyond a side hug during greetings and goodbyes, there was no physicality. I even let him read out past messages just to see that there was no emotional affair or me leading him on. I never even vented about my fiance when we would have arguments because I knew better than to do that. I'd talk to my mom, LOL. So my fiance asked me what I wanted to do. And I said that while it did sadden me, I didn't want him at our wedding. I was afraid that he would try some nonsense. We typed up a very brief message. It said, "Friend, I'm sorry that you mistook my friendship for something more. The wedding is going to happen, and it'd be best if you didn't attend. To be clear, I let fiance read this message, and he stands by my decision to uninvite you." That's pretty fucking clear. We wanted to make it clear that it was me.
What does she mean by stands?
You start like nitpicking the message. No,
Yeah,
she wants it. She wants it.
That's how you start doing. You start dissecting
cry for
little.
help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what she's saying is that she's only writing this because he's over her shoulder and he's looking at. Oh, I get it.
I see. Right. It's a cry for help. I gotta save her.
I got it. Yeah, of course.
He read the message. We wanted to make it clear that it was me who wanted for him not to come, not just my fiance. Knowing him, he'd probably claim that fiance forced me to uninvite him. He read the message and left it unread for a while. I honestly started getting pretty anxious over it, and fiance asked if I wanted to block him. Part of me wanted to, and part of me wanted to hear him out. And when he finally responded, the text was so long that I had to click on it to read it. I guess it was like,
Yes, bro. Yeah.
Read more.
Right.
I declared it was horrible. He called me a liar for leading him on for over a decade.
See, that's not the Nary. That's not the Nary. That's not the Nary.
That's
a different move. Different move.
He
Different
hoped,
move, man.
that he hoped my fiance left me and that we were infertile. It was just a horrible thing after
Jesus
horrible
Christ.
thing. Yeah, and I started crying. Fiance took my phone. into the other room while I sobbed. I think he called him, but I'm not sure. What I do know is after about an hour, he came back in, handed me my phone back, and told me that friend was now blocked on everything, would not be attending, and the best man and my maid of honor knew of the situation and would handle it for me. Hell yeah, this dude, I like it. Good husband. It was like a weight lifted off my shoulders. Honestly, after reading that message, I really wasn't so sad that friend wouldn't be attending anymore. And our wedding fucking rocked. We had the time of our lives surrounded by people who loved us, and we loved them. It still feels like a dream, to be honest. And if friend tried to show up, I never heard anything of it. I guess that's the update. It's not nearly as dramatic and crazy as what people hope for, I feel like, but I'm happy.
Wishing you're infertile is pretty dramatic. All right.
Yeah,
I gotta go.
crazy.
I got a gig to do. Love you. Thank you guys for checking us out. Go to Geek Bro Network. Go to geekbro.net. Check out the other podcasts on the Geek Bro Network. Talk to you guys later. Bye.